Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the Roots of Islam channel. In a nation where less than 0.2% of the population identifies as Muslim, over 200 Japanese citizens are estimated to embrace Islam every single year. For centuries, Japan has been defined by Shinto shrines, Buddhist temples, and a cultural identity often described as religiously homogeneous. The soundscape of cities like Kyoto and Tokyo has long been shaped by temple bells, not the adhan. So how is it that in one of the world's most secular and culturally uniform societies, young Japanese men and women are quietly entering mosques and reciting the Shahada? By the end of this video, you will discover how Islam first arrived in Japan, how the Muslim population surged from a few hundred to over 230,000, and why a growing number of ethnic Japanese are choosing a faith historically seen as foreign. At the 8-minute mark, you will hear the deeply personal story of a Tokyo University student whose spiritual search led from a Shinto household to daily prayer in a mosque. To understand this transformation, we must first rewind to a time when Islam was virtually unknown on Japanese soil. To grasp what is happening today, we must rewind to the late 19th century, when Japan's encounter with Islam was almost entirely academic. Prior to the 20th century, Japan's religious landscape was dominated by Shinto and Buddhism. According to government cultural surveys, over 70% of Japanese people participate in Shinto rituals annually, while approximately 67% are affiliated in some form with Buddhist institutions. Religious practice, however, has often been cultural rather than doctrinal, creating a society sometimes described as spiritually fluid, yet institutionally secular. The first significant contact with Islam occurred during the Meiji era, particularly after 1890, when the Ottoman frigate Ertuğrul visited Japan. However, permanent Muslim settlement did not begin until the early 1900s. In 1909, small numbers of Tatar Muslims fleeing the Russian Empire began arriving in cities such as Kobe and Tokyo. By the 1930s, Japan's Muslim population was estimated at fewer than 1,000 individuals. In 1935, the Kobe Mosque was established in the Kitano district of Kobe, becoming Japan's first permanent mosque. It survived even the bombings of World War II, symbolizing early institutional resilience. The Tokyo Kami, originally constructed in 1938 in the Yoyogi Uehara area of Tokyo, was founded by Turkic Muslims who had migrated from Central Asia. Although the original structure was later rebuilt in 2000, its establishment marked a foundational moment in Japan's Islamic trajectory. After World War II, Muslim numbers declined sharply. By 1960, estimates suggest fewer than 500 Muslims resided in the entire country. Japan's post-war immigration policies were highly restrictive, and foreign labor migration remained minimal until the 1980s. However, economic expansion during the 1980s altered demographic patterns. The 1990 Immigration Control and Refugee Recognition Act revisions permitted greater entry for foreign workers, particularly from countries such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Iran. Between 1985 and 1995, the Muslim population grew from approximately 10,000 to nearly 30,000. Initially, worship spaces were modest. Apartments were converted into prayer rooms in areas such as Okachimachi in Tokyo and Namba in Osaka. Community cohesion was maintained through informal networks, ethnic associations, and small halal grocery stores. At this stage, Islam in Japan remained overwhelmingly immigrant-based, yet beneath the surface, curiosity among Japanese nationals had begun to stir. And this small trickle of interest would soon develop into something far more significant. But the real expansion was yet to come, and it arrived in a way few analysts predicted. According to research conducted by Waseda University, Japan's Muslim population reached approximately 70,000 by 2000. By 2010, that figure had nearly doubled to 120,000. Recent estimates from 2022 suggest the number now exceeds 230,000, representing a more than threefold increase in just 2 decades. Census figures in Japan do not formally record religion. However, migration data indicates that foreign residents from Muslim-majority countries increased significantly between 2012 and 2022. Indonesian residents alone grew from roughly 24,000 to over 50,000 during that period. Tokyo hosts the largest Muslim concentration with an estimated 60,000 residents. Osaka follows with approximately 30,000, while cities such as Nagoya, Fukuoka, and Saitama show steady growth. In districts like Shin-Okubo and Ueno, halal restaurants and Arabic signage are now part of the urban landscape. Institutional infrastructure has expanded accordingly. Japan now has over 110 mosques and prayer facilities compared to fewer than 15 in 1999. The Tokyo Kami and Turkish Culture Center, rebuilt in 2000 with a capacity of approximately 2,000 worshippers, remains the most prominent Islamic landmark in the country. Kobe Mosque continues to serve the Kansai region, while Osaka Ibaraki Mosque, established in 2006, accommodates nearly 1,000 worshippers. In Nagoya, the Nagoya Mosque supports a diverse Southeast Asian community. Islamic schools remain limited, yet supplementary education programs operate in Tokyo and Aichi Prefecture. Community centers provide Arabic classes, Quran instruction, and integration support. The Japan Muslim Association, founded in 1952, coordinates national religious affairs and conversion guidance. Halal infrastructure has expanded dramatically. According to industry reports, over 800 halal-certified restaurants now operate across Japan, compared to fewer than 50 in 2005. Airports such as Narita and Kansai International Airport offer designated prayer spaces, reflecting institutional normalization. Second-generation Muslims are emerging within Japanese society. Children born in Saitama and Yokohama now speak fluent Japanese as their primary language while maintaining Islamic identity. This generational development signals permanence rather than transience. While these institutions were rising, something even more profound was happening in the private lives of ordinary Muslims. Imagine waking before dawn in a compact Tokyo apartment, the soft hum of vending machines outside blending with the quiet recitation of Fajr prayer. Daily Muslim life in Japan involves both adaptation and continuity. In Tokyo's Yoyogi Uehara district, worshippers walk quietly to Tokyo Kami for Friday prayers, where sermons are delivered in Japanese, Turkish, and English. Attendance regularly exceeds 1,500 during major gatherings. Ramadan in Japan presents unique challenges. With fasting hours extending beyond 15 hours in summer, community iftars become essential. In 2023, Tokyo Kami hosted nightly iftars for approximately 300 attendees, including many Japanese converts experiencing their first Ramadan. Eid prayers are often held in rented halls due to capacity limitations. In 2022, an Eid gathering in Saitama attracted nearly 3,000 participants. The sight of families dressed in traditional attire against the backdrop of Japanese urban architecture creates a striking visual contrast. Muslim children navigate dual identities. Research indicates that approximately 20% of Muslims in Japan are under 18 years old. In public schools, accommodations for halal meals remain limited, though some municipalities have introduced alternative lunch options. Halal access has improved substantially. Okachimachi in Tokyo hosts multiple halal butchers, while Osaka's Nipponbashi district features certified restaurants serving Pakistani, Indonesian, and Middle Eastern cuisine. Interfaith engagement also plays a role. The Tokyo Kami regularly organizes open mosque days, attracting thousands of Japanese visitors annually. These events foster dialogue and reduce misconceptions. But some of the most remarkable Muslims in Japan were not born into immigrant families at all. Now, here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Aiko Tanaka, a 24-year-old university student from Yokohama, grew up visiting Shinto shrines during New Year celebrations. During her exchange program in Malaysia in 2018, she encountered Islam closely for the first time. What began as academic curiosity evolved into theological inquiry. After months of study, she embraced Islam at Tokyo Kami in 2020. Her Shahada was recited softly in Japanese and Arabic before a small group of witnesses. Similarly, Kenji Sato, a former salaryman in Osaka, converted in 2016 after years of philosophical study. Dissatisfied with what he described as spiritual ambiguity, he found in Islam a structured framework of belief and practice. His family initially expressed confusion, yet over time, relationships stabilized. Research conducted by Sophia University estimates that between 150 and 300 Japanese citizens convert annually. Over the past decade, this suggests roughly 2,000 to 3,000 ethnic Japanese have embraced Islam. Conversion support networks have grown accordingly. The Japan Islamic Trust offers classes specifically for new Muslims, while online Japanese language Quran resources have expanded significantly since 2015. These personal transformations represent more than individual choices. They signify a cultural shift. Yet, growth has not occurred without resistance. But this expansion did not come without tension, and what followed tested the community's resilience. In 2016, proposals for mosque construction in certain suburban districts faced local opposition due to concerns over noise and cultural difference. Although Japan has experienced relatively low levels of violent Islamophobia compared to Europe, social hesitation persists. Political figures such as members of the Nippon Ishin no Kai party have emphasized stricter immigration controls, indirectly affecting Muslim demographics. Debates intensified following global terrorism incidents, despite the absence of domestic extremist attacks linked to Japanese Muslims. Media stereotypes occasionally reinforce misconceptions. However, community leaders have responded proactively through transparency initiatives and public engagement. Open mosque events, charity drives following natural disasters, and interfaith dialogues have strengthened social cohesion. The Kobe Mosque notably opened its doors to earthquake victims during the 1995 Great Hanshin earthquake, reinforcing its integration into local society. Despite these headwinds, the trajectory remains unmistakable. Looking ahead, demographic analysts project continued gradual growth. If current migration and conversion patterns persist, Japan's Muslim population could approach 300,000 by 2035. Young Japanese Muslims are increasingly visible as translators, social media educators, and entrepreneurs. Islamic fashion brands designed by Japanese converts have emerged online,